Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hopefully you're all doing well. I apologise for the lighting in the first literally 10 seconds of the first video. It's just the lighting in the room was flashing a little bit. It just picks up on the frame rate of the camera. I've just been going around doing like Legionella remedials this week. Some of the jobs might seem a little bit trivial, but they are quite important, because without isolators before blenders you can't do your drop tests to make sure the blender's working properly and cutting off. And then there was a couple of water heaters where I lowered them down so they've got proper access to the system, so they can chlorinate them and clean them out and everything. So yeah, the jobs might seem a little bit trivial. I try and keep them as interesting as possible. And I always say, if the jobs need doing, it may as well be me that's doing it rather than anybody else. So yeah, if the jobs come through, I will do them. So yeah, we'll get straight into the video. Hopefully you enjoy. If you do, make sure you hit the like button. If you don't, hit the dislike, and we'll see you all in the episode. Thank you for watching. Now then, guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're all doing well. This will be probably the last video before Easter, so happy Easter. We'll get that one out of the way for a start. Hopefully you all have a good weekend. This week's going to be a bit more of a jobbing video. I've been doing Legionella remedials in school. Some of the jobs might seem a little bit pointless, but they are what they are. You know, they've got to be done. One of the videos, I lower some water heaters down just so they've got better access to the systems to clean them out and chlorinate them and stuff. They were fitted quite high, so that was a job that needed doing. Obviously, they've been like it a while, but technically you should have 300 mil above so they can get access to them. This job, I'll show you, that's nothing to do with me. By the way, that's been leaking. There's no isolators for this blender, so I'm going to try and get some in. What this is feeding, we've got two blenders along here, so they go along. What I'm going to try and do is get some isolators in this pipe here, so they've got full bore isolators in there then, so they can do the drop tests and stuff, and it saves turning all the water off to the side. But some of these are just a mess, but there's nothing I've been asked to do with that. That's not how I would have done it, but it is what it is. All I'm going to do is get some isolators in there so they can service these two blending valves. So we'll get this one done for a start. What I'm going to try and do is get a couple of these full bore isolators on that pipe in there. It's not going to be easy because I'm going to be a little bit limited for room. I've got the water off, I've just drained it through the taps. There will be a little bit in that pipe. I'll try and get my slice in there, get that cut, and then we'll just have to spread that pipe a little bit to get that valve in. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but not impossible. I think I can get that in. Probably it's never easy. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. Not happy with that HEPVO on there like that. It is what it is. As long as it's not leaking, I'll just put on my report that it's not very good. You can't, at the end of the day, you can't fix everything because you'd never get anything done. You have to wait to get an order. Whether I can get a little bit of movement on them pipes. We need to have about how much off. Sometimes it's these little jobs. They're the most awkward in plumbing. When you're trying to work with existing pipework and stuff, you just have to be really careful at the end to check to make sure you haven't disturbed anything, because the amount of times you can just knock a pipe or a blender and it disturbs the washer is, you know, and you end up having to come back then, whereas if you check it while you're there, it only takes 30 seconds. Probably get a bit more in the arc, to be fair. When I cut into this, I knew I'd have a bit there. Because the taps are stopped, I think it's just a bit of pressure in the pipe. Yeah, I've got to be careful though, because that'll be red hot. Yeah, that is red hot water, that. I'll give that a second. I don't think it'll be much, but because it's red hot, I don't want to burn myself. We'll just give it a minute, a bit of patience. Just slowly. It is red hot, that, to be fair. Yeah, it should be alright. Whether I can get the thing in or not, that's a different question, but in terms of getting the water off, we're alright. The thing with plumbing is you can never panic. If you panic, you know, you just have to stay calm. Even when everything's going wrong. Let's get a valve on there. Bit of jet olive. Jet blue. I don't know if I'll be able to get this in. Probably not. We got it. We always do. Let's get the hot tank back up for a start. Right, so we'll put full bore isolators on there, so at least now you can service the blenders. We'll get the water back on, have a mop up, make sure there's no leaks, and that's that little job all sorted. There's isolators on them, but obviously you can't work on the blender. Right, water's all back onto the site. We'll get these valves turned on, and we'll make sure there's no leaks on any of these washers. All that wants cutting off at the floor, short boss socket. It's only on a cleaning eye anyway, so why somebody's done it like that, that's just not a disgrace, innit? All I'll do is put on my report that needs attention. It's not leaking. Well, I'll make sure it's not leaking, and I'll just put on my report it requires attention. You can't just go doing stuff in these places without an order, because you won't get paid for it. I'm guessing that's just water that I've spilled. I'll have a good dry up, make sure there's no leaks. Spend 10 minutes checking in these sort of places. You don't want to leave a problem. And then that one should be sorted. I'm just getting this water heater drained. What they've said is it's too close to the ceiling for them to service it. So you're supposed to have a minimum of 300 mil above a storage system or tank in order to service it. So they've asked for it to be lowered down. This one's not too bad. I've just got the electric spur to move. And then just move all the pipework down. In theory, I did quote for a new heater, but that's not what they wanted. It is working, so they've asked for it just to be lowered. So I've just got a hose on there. I've got a couple of these to do. The other one's a bit of a mess, to be fair. Obviously got the water off up there, and I'll just lower all this down 300 mil. So it's got 300 mil above it. I don't know why it's never been picked up before now, but mine's not the reason why. I just do or die. But obviously you need to drain these water heaters. There is a cover that goes over there, just held on by. Well, this one was 2 screws. It should have 4 screws in, and then drain it. That's your immersion heater. That's obviously hot. Obviously electric's in, overflow, and then cold in. at that side, so I've isolated the cold as well. Stop the ball valve. There's a ball valve inside there, part 2, which obviously fills the little tank up, which goes to about there, the cistern, and then all this is your water that's heated. It's just an immersion heater, vented multi-point in effect, but these work on gravity, so you're supposed to have them fairly high, otherwise you won't get any water out your taps. But what I'll do is I'll put a full bore isolator on there, cut that one off. They're held onto the wall by that bracket there, and then they just lift off at the top, but I'm just got the power isolated. I just need to go in here and make sure that we are actually there. I'll get my tester on it. I don't want no surprises, and I'm hoping I've got enough flex on that conduit just to push it all to the left hand side a little bit, because the water heater needs to fit to about there. So we'll have a look. I'll just pop that across. Okay, yeah, so I'll just get my tester in there. I can't really do it one-handed. Make sure that's dead, and then now it's finished draining, we should be able to get this water heater off. That spur does not look very good to me. Whether that connection's been loose on that neutral, but it looks like it's been getting a bit hot, that, doesn't it? I'm not very happy with that. I might get an electrician to come out and change it. I'll get these pipes cut off. It's hot out, cut off. Overflow. Just getting all the pipes disconnected. That's the overflow. It is actually a copper one on this. We'll make sure that goes back in. Just got the cold to disconnect, and we can get the unit lifted off then. My little cheapy socket set, but it does the job for me. See if I can get this off here. I've got to be a bit carefully. As soon as the bracket might not hold at the top, so probably use 2 hands in a second. Get that undone. I will put a new washer in that drain off tap as well. And the electricians, I've spoke to the electricians only around the corner, he's going to come whip a new spear on for me on there. Because it looks like it's been getting hot to me. Probably just the neutral's not been connected properly. So that all that does is stabilise the bottom. And we'll just lift this off now. This is inside the unit. I'll probably pop a new ball valve in there as well. So it's just part 2 ball valve. Obviously water comes over the top, so there's no risk of contamination. The part 1's used to come underneath, and then in theory, if your overflow wasn't quite set, it could go back into your main. That's just a part 2. That's your vent coming over the top, and that's your feed into the tank below. So yeah, very basic gravity multi-point water heater, quite reliable to be fair. These are really expensive to change as well. I think the only ones you can get is the Heat Race Adius. I think they're about £1,000. Well, while this is still working, they've said just lower it down. So that's what we're up against. Cold will just dogleg down, overflow will just shorten, hot will just shorten, new full bore isolator on there, and then the electrics will just move, but we'll lower it down so they've got better access. Right, that's all prepped, ready to get on the wall. Just put the old bolts, just lowered it down, so we've got 300mm above now. Move that spur out of the way, just pulled it out of the box in. I'll refix that in a second. So yeah, just get this lifted back on the wall, get it all built back up, and the job done. Right, we've got 300 above the water heater now. That damn near killed me lifting that back on. I kept missing the hooks, but I got it in the end anyway. So yeah, just pipe it back on now. Should be easy enough. So I'll pop a full bore isolator back on the hot out. That pipe will lift back up, it's just trapped a little bit. First of all, I'll get my bolt back in there. That one bolted back up. I might go all a bit. I kept dropping it. Not much you can do. That might maybe wipe off. I worked it out so I could just spin that cold inlet around. So I put a new fibre washer on there, rejet blew that up, it should be good just to tighten that back in. I'm going to change that ball valve anyway. Overflow should just be able to shorten 200mm off it, and then we should be good. Just got the hot to connect, but that's the easy bit. I think the old overflow used to go out there. Always put a new fibre washer on, and I always put a little bit of jet blue on mine when it goes onto a brass thread. Just a little bit, and then jet blue on there all the way around, and then that'll tighten back on. Now I'm going to put that full bore isolator on the hot. I would normally put a lever valve on, but I can't find one in my van. So that's going on the hot. It just saves having to drain the whole tank. That one's all sorted, all connected back in, wired back up. Got 300mm above it, so there shouldn't have any complaints there now. Should be fine. I just put an extra clip on that overflow pipe as well because it was annoying me, so that's all in, as tidy as I can. Same thing to do on this one. You do struggle to get the lid off this, to be fair, so I'm just going to lower it down 100mm on this one. I haven't got a lot of space. It's all on plastic pipe though, so should make it life a lot easier. So we've just got a flex. All I'll do is lower the speed fit down. I don't know why they've done it in plastic, but they have. It is what it is, nothing I can do with that. So I'll get this one lowered down and that's job done. These ones, get yourself a big bucket ready because there's a plug underneath. And you have to undo that plug. You have to undo this plug, but what you often find is it gets all lime scale in there. But that one's fine. You find they block up. So I'll just get this one drained. I'll get it sorted. I just shove a hose on there and that drains that all down then. Obviously we've isolated the cold again. And then don't lose that because you need that bit to put back on. So you've got a similar idea on this one. Obviously cold in, overflow and vent. That one fills the tank. So the problem is if they're mounted too high, you can't clean all the scale and the sediment out the cistern. So technically the elements should be dropped out, all the scale should be cleaned out, and this tank should be dropped, cleaned as well and chlorinated. So we'll give it a wipe out anyway, but it's not really down to me to sort. It's obviously the Legionella guys' job to do. But yeah, this one's just on 2 brackets, and get that lowered down, get it back on the wall, and then we just literally cut the pipes down, new insert and then across. They've not used the right inserts on the pipe. It should be super seal ones. It is speed fit, as you can see. Speed fit should have a super seal, but I just changed the ones that I'm touching. Right, I've given them 300mm to the ceiling. I'm going to get some white cover caps. I think I've got some in the van actually, just to put over them screw holes, and then I'll just get all this lowered, the new super seal inserts across. Pipework's not the best, but what can you do? What can you do? You can't really improve what's there. I haven't even unflexed this one. All I'll do is pin that back in there with the washer, and that'll do it. Right, super seal inserts in your plastic. Elbow will go straight back on there. That way, and then I'll just tighten that back up onto there. I'm not changing the plastic pipe. It is what it is. It's how it was. And then at least this way it gives you clear access to clean all the cistern out as per the water regulations. Just a case of cutting 150 off all the pipe work and then making it back in. We use the isolator. I'm not a massive fan of them, but it's what was in. As long as it's not been leaking. I think that's just contamination. It's not been leaking. Yeah, it'll be fine. We get all the air out of it, and then we can get the power back on. Make sure it all still heats up. Never turn the power back on until you get water coming out your tap, because you will knacker the elements in these. Yeah, all bolted back on, how it should be. Lovely job. What I do is just stick a couple of cover caps on at the top. I can't really get fixing to screw them, so I think if I just silicone them in there, I've made a pretty decent effort of making good. That should be fine. I've done my best in them. We just pump the oil full of silicone and just push them back. When that silicone goes off, it'll be fine. It just saves having 2 holes at the top. Some jobs you can only do your best, and that's all I've been asked to do on this one. So we are done. I've repainted the water lid on the other one as well. It's starting to go a bit rusty, so I just give it a coat of white amorite in the sunshine. It's just I didn't want any rust dropping back into the tank, so I think it should be fine now. It's just all sealed it. Just give that 5 more minutes to dry and we'll pop that back on. It just makes it so nobody can pick you up on that then. If it's gone, ideally it should have had a new lid, but the chances of getting a new lid for that are probably slim. So yeah, it's all sealed anyway. I don't think anybody will be able to tell. Hopefully you enjoyed them videos. I haven't got as much footage this week as I've liked. I've just been really super busy, basically. It's always busy these sort of kids holidays. We just get no end of schoolwork. I've also done a couple of boilers this week as well, which hasn't helped, and then I just get other jobs dropped on me. I've just been and done a 3-port. What else have I been? I've been here, there and everywhere, to be honest with you. Just flat out busy, which is good. I can't complain, but you just seem to be chasing your tail all the time. I've just come down the yard to unload my rubbish, and I've seen both skips before. I'll show you the state of my van. This is disgraceful. It's pouring it down with rain as well. I've got an outside boiler to go and fit as well this afternoon, but never lost a tin of paint there. Look at the state of that, look. That's a disgrace. Got a boiler there. I think there's another boiler in there somewhere as well. Rubbish. Both skips are full. So yeah, it's one of them days, isn't it? You just never get a chance to tidy anything out over the bank holiday weekend. I'll have a couple of days off, and then I'll spend a day tidying the van up as well, because it needs to be done, to be honest with you. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.